Come
I'm
on, say hello. You don't want to say hello?
this
Cats, they don't like to say hello when you want them to say hello.
So, how are you? How you been?
I've been okay, except I've got pissed off recently. Well, I get pissed off a lot. Couple of things I can tell you about. If you first is, maybe we can talk about this, is that I was listening to a podcast, and once again, the podcast hosts said, leave us a review over at iTunes. And we're very happy to receive 5-star reviews. And then they started tearing apart, criticizing, making fun of listeners who left 1-star reviews. And one of the hosts said, I don't understand why people bother leaving a bad review. If I don't like something, I just don't talk about it. And that really pissed me off because I thought, isn't that a form of censorship as well? Is it really a review if you're not allowed to give a negative review? Then it's not a review, it's only a praise. It's only flattery. And the second thing that I think might run into our conversation is today, I lost my brother 2 weeks ago. And yesterday, using the internet, I was able to attend his life celebration party. This is something where all his friends got together to tell stories about him and to celebrate my brother's life. And my brother was also in a local band. And the musicians in the band played songs while they were there. And one of the songs was Cat Stevens's Father and Son. Do you remember that song? It's where the father is in a very calm voice trying to persuade the son to listen to him, to take his advice. And the son in a very high voice is saying, I've got to live my own life. I've got to get away. And when the line in the song said, I know I have to go away. And it was at that point that I broke down because it struck me as not only when people die, they go away, but that I've lived most of my life so far away from my origin, my family, and not being there for this celebration event and not being there for most of my family's major events, I just felt so far away. But that's irrelevant. That's not what I'm bringing this up for. I'm bringing this up because that song, even sung by an amateur musician, oh God, I hope he doesn't see this, even sung by an amateur musician, that song was powerful. It deeply, deeply affected me. So I wonder if these two things are something we can maybe discuss. Oh, the third thing is, you had asked me, I told you that I don't really like, what are they called?
The reaction video.
Reaction videos. There is an artist and a song called Hiren, Hiren. And I watched this song because somehow it just popped up on my YouTube feed. I don't watch YouTube, it just popped up there. I saw this song on my YouTube feed and I was so blown away by this performance. I must have watched it about 5 or 6 times until I shared it on my own Facebook feed. And then I think I started getting in my YouTube feed these watch videos, first reaction videos. And I watched about 4 of them. And my initial thought was, who is this guy? I don't care what she or he thinks. And my second thought was, why should I care? This person's an idiot reviewing this. Doesn't he see the brilliance of it? But anyway, that's just me being a grump. The third thing was, I realized if I had not watched this original music video before watching these reaction videos, I would probably have not enjoyed, appreciated the original music video. So these are 3 things I'm dropping out there, and now I'll just step back and
Talking about reaction videos. So when do I watch reaction videos is generally, when I like a song and when I want to know how other people have responded to it. I would never watch the reaction video of a song before I watch that or listen to that song. So that's definitely there. And I have to mention that there's so many kinds of reaction videos out there. And some are made by professionals and some are made by simple plain listeners. All of them have a different charm, I would say. There's a section which I would avoid as well. I can't deny that. There's a section which I would avoid, but I started my journey with the reaction videos for Coke Studio Pakistan, and when I was making them and when I was uploading them, I would get a lot of suggestions of what other reaction videos were like. 2 of them stood out really strongly. One was this channel called Afro Sis. Two African sisters who would sit together and listen to the songs. I really enjoyed listening and watching their videos because it was such a pure joy actually to just listen how they were receiving the songs when they had to completely rely on the subtitles to understand what the lyrics were saying, and their whole sensibilities was so different as opposed to mine, because although it was Coke Studio Pakistan, I share the region that I felt like was coming something which was very close, just around me. But as opposed to for them, it was something completely different and almost alien for them. So I used to love their reaction videos. Then there was this one a woman from China who would just get so carried away with the beats and the rhythm and the melody, and it was one of those videos in which people just sit and bang their heads to the music, but somehow that woman had that whole an aura and a charm to her that it was so nice to just look at her when she was actually so happy and so cheerfully watching those videos. Apart from these kind of videos, what I really also enjoy is, at times we would have some vocal coaches reacting. They would give you insights and give you technical information. At times we would have music producers talking about the songs and all. So there's this whole wide spectrum of reaction videos. Some I have to agree, some don't offer any value, but then maybe to me, but to someone else it might be otherwise, because if any video is getting views on YouTube, there has to be a reason for it, because I know most of all, you can put any video and not every video is gonna get views. Anyway, coming back
Can
to
you rewind that? You said some of your reaction videos don't get views because that's not what people want to watch. Well, what do you mean that some of your YouTube fan base does not like reaction videos, so they just it's another damn reaction video. Why don't this guy do something serious, like go back into his garden? Or is it just that some of your reaction videos really suck?
well, okay, I can't lie. I think there is a variation in the kind of quality of my videos. At times, my mind is on fire. At times, my mind is working so well, and at times it's not. So there's a difference in content as well. I can't deny that. At times, I sit down because when I'm editing and when I upload and I watch it for the first time, I can feel is it working or not. At times it's not working, so but it's too late to pull it down and all of that. I do pull down my videos as well at times, at times when I see that no, it's the internet can do without it, so I do pull down my videos as well. But that's that. So but also from my personal experience and from the other channels that I follow, and from what I understand from their number of views as well, there is a wave. And if you're on it, you'll get views. If you're off it, you're not going to get views. So because I'm a very small channel, I hardly have something 5,000 plus subscribers, and most of the times the views that I get, they are like more than 95% plus non-subscribers. So for some reason, the subscribers, my videos so many times don't reach my subscribers, and there's a whole algorithmic science to it. I don't want to get into that, because so many channels which I subscribe to, I don't get the notifications either. So all of that is like a whole different thing. But yeah, that's basically it. Like if it's something which is trending, higher chances of getting views, and if it's not trending, so lower chances of getting views. So there are a lot of factors. It's not simply about the quality of the content. It it just not is.
Mhm. Okay, here's the delicate question. We're trying to find out whether or not reaction videos are fraudulent. Some of the reaction videos I saw for High Ren, it looked like it was obvious this was the person's first viewing of the song. One was a therapist who at one point started crying and said, "This is amazing." And another one was a couple of guys, one of whom had to excuse himself from the room and come back with sunglasses and tissues because he was a guy and he couldn't show that he had been crying. And I wondered, when I saw some of your best reactionary videos, was that your first time to see the video? Are you reacting completely fresh? If you're not, is your reaction planned? Like, I'm not going to say that the best, most widely viewed videos are the ones where my friends are playing VR and they fall down on their asses, or you're watching a music video and you start to cry. I mean, it's okay if you want to cry. I don't mind. But is that your first view? Are you faking the tears? Is that really your reaction, or are you coming at it intellectually? Then it's not really a reaction, it's a review.
Okay, so at times I make videos for the songs which I've already heard before, and at times I do
Okay.
mention that it's not my first listen. I have heard this song
Okay.
before, and or I have heard this song like so many years back, and I'm revisiting it and all of that. So not all
Hmm.
of so I actually don't make first. I don't claim to be making only first time watching reactions. Yeah, first time watched reactions. No, it's not. But art is something which is strong, and good art, I believe, is something which will take you close to a feeling, always, like you experience it for the first time. For example, this song by Karakoram and Young Stunners, Ye Dunya it was called, from the last Coke Studio season 14. You play it now and I'm going to start crying. So I'm not faking it.
Hmm.
It's the emotion that's going to come out of me. And when I listen to it for the first time, it's going to be very strong. When I listen to it like so many times later, it might dilute a little. But I'm mentioning this song because that makes me cry like anything, no matter how many times I listen to it. It's hard for me to listen to that song like that. And there's this one trailer for Cinema Paradiso, which is like its
Hmm.
anniversary trailer, which is like a 1 minute thing, and there's nothing sad about it. There's nothing. It's not a tragedy or anything. But you play it now. If we watch it now, I'm gonna start crying. So I'm not pretending. I'm not acting. I'm just being too transparent with my feelings. And you mentioned that there was this reaction video in which the guy got up and he got sunglasses because he was a guy and he couldn't show himself crying. That's something which never crossed my mind. Maybe I should be conscious about, you know, exposing myself like that
just,
when I'm crying.
just think of the hot dude factor when you wear those Men in Black glasses. Yeah.
I don't think they suit me too well, but what anything to hide something that one might want to.
So your reaction videos, you do acknowledge it's your second time viewing, and when you have an emotional response, it's you're blaming it on the art and it's genuine. No,
Yes, yes.
my problem is that I deeply, deeply respect you. And so your videos, your reviews, I believe everything you say, I take it seriously. So if you say something sucks, I trust you. But some stranger I don't know is gonna say, oh, this anyway. The second thing is, why do people want to see reaction videos? Did you ever answer that? Why is there an audience for these things when I just find that a reaction video dilutes my own appreciation of the original music, film, novel?
Um, I think different people would do that for different reasons. I know a lot of people who hate reaction videos and they go like that's the worst thing that's prevailing on the internet. Um, okay, so I did watch a few reaction videos to the trailer of RRR, which were made by American viewers, and for me it was more of a curiosity, like how are people from different cultures who are not familiar with the nuances or either the culture in its whole entirety, how do they take it, how do they respond to it? I think that
Hmm.
was my curiosity. But you just mentioned that the best videos which are people playing VR falling on their on their butts. I would want to watch that. That sounds fun. So I think different people have different reasons to watch their reaction videos. So I think it's very subjective.
Hmm. Okay. But there's a difference in my heart. Somehow I don't respect reaction videos because I guess I'm a snob. Part of me said, who cares? I don't know these people. She might be a therapist, which is great, but even the style of the reaction video, We watch, we stop, I turn to the camera, I say, this is incredible. And then we watch some more, and then I turn to the camera and start crying. We watch some more, and I turn to the camera, stop, look at the camera and say, oh my God, that's how it is. It just, oh, I'm going to get horrible for doing these imitations. It just seems it really ruined, even after I had fallen in love with the original high-rend video, watching other people watch, stop, talk, start, stop, talk. It was a form of slicing and editing that made the appreciation more difficult for me. It's almost as if I was saying, they ruined it. And that's one thing. But the other thing is the difference between a reaction video and a review. Do you have any feelings about that
So I think
as a receiver, not as a creator?
mm, by definition, reaction videos and reviews are two entirely different things. But I think as we are getting more and more of both, the lines are beginning to blur. I know you hate ABBA, but that's one band which I do enjoy a lot. And there was this one DJ who used to make reaction videos to almost. He's made almost reaction videos to almost all the ABBA songs. So when I was listening, and I've heard ABBA ever since I gained consciousness. It's always been my sisters used to listen to it, and then we go to the parties and we had remixes and all of that. So there's no ABBA song which I don't know about. So when I was watching those reaction videos by that DJ, he was picking out things which I had not noticed. He was picking out structures and patterns, and he was informing me about all of that. So now it was more of an analysis as opposed to just plain reaction, and that's what a lot of people do when they sit down to make reaction videos. Almost all the ones that I enjoy have that quality or character to them. So as opposed to I don't know. That's a tough question for me to answer. Like, I don't know. What do you think is the difference between a reaction video and a review?
By the way, I keep muting my microphone because for the past 2 weeks, I've had a bit of a cough. So I hope it's not affecting your sound quality. Again, a reaction video, and I've seen authors delighted by bloggers who do a thing called instant review. Somebody will read a chapter of a book and then go to his blog and automatically react to that chapter he just read until he's finished the whole book. Some authors at least really love this, perhaps because it gets their name on the internet more often. Anyway, that feels dangerous to me, because I think a review, if it's done well, is more likely to get at the heart of a work of art. And because my background was academia, I'm a retired academic, really retired. Because my background is academic, I love the intellectual. So when you speak about those videos that analyze, I'm mesmerized by those if they're done well. There's one that a musicologist analyzed the soundtrack of the horror film Hereditary. And the things he brought up, I would never in my life have realized about how the composer plays with the music, the strangeness of the instruments he's used, the way he's combined music to pull out emotions. So those are perhaps my favorite, because I love the idea of learning, and when I'm taught well, it's beautiful. One of my favorite films of last year was the Everything Everywhere All at Once. Have you seen that yet?
I'm still to watch it, and
Oh,
I'm sure I'll. So I saw the trailer.
slap.
I saw the trailer and I loved it. And maybe we can watch it and then we can have another discussion about the film. I would love to do that as well.
Yeah. But there is a video on the YouTube, one of those analysis videos. It's called Everybody Loves Waymond. Waymond is the name of the character in the film. And it looks at this character and how this character of the husband is revolutionary in martial arts films, because he's the one who stands up and says, even when fighting is necessary to be victorious, he stands in the middle of the fight, puts his arms up and says, can't we all just be kind? And so this whole analysis was looking at the history of the idea of the alpha male in cinema, and that, you know, martial skills need to be masculine in terms of violence. And it was, I love the analysis. So an analysis video and a review video, to me, are different only in the degree of depth of their study. So perhaps an analysis video is much more technical, coming from a professional background. You as an architect reviewed that TV show, the fantasy one, Shadow
Wheel of Time.
Clock, Wheel of Time, which makes me think Wheel of Fortune. Come on down. Wheel of Time. I loved your analysis of that TV show, the first few episodes. As an architect, you saw things that I would probably not notice. You also saw the mythology, because you were also something of a folklorist. I know you love traveling in the mountains, talking with indigenous tribes. You offered that review, and it was to me spot on. One more reason why I respect you so much, because you understand that a review is not just, I really like this, or I enjoyed it. A review says, I enjoyed it, and this is why. And in that, perhaps it's making the argument, or the suggestion, that there are essentials to what defines art. You know, Benjamin talked about the aura of art. And in the postmodern period today, everybody, well, at least in the popular way that postmodernism is playing out, everybody is saying things like, you should not judge a work of art because, hey, it's all personal opinion. What you like is what you like. What I like is what I like. So if you don't like what I like, bugger off, mate. And why are you saying you don't like it on the internet? You know, so to me, there is a sense that there are things that define what is quality and what is not quality. And so I like your reviews, because you don't just say, I enjoyed it and it's my opinion. If you don't like it, bugger off. You know, you're not doing that. You're saying, I enjoyed it because this, that. So when I review things on my Facebook, as if anybody reads that stuff, when I give comments on films, I will never just say, oh, I like this, or this was fun. I will always try to say the acting was top-rate acting, that the subject that they dealt about was relevant, that the quality of the cinematography. I will try to give reasons why I think it's quality. But then every time I will say something that I disagree with, like Rings of Power. All right, everybody, Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power, not good. Because, only reason, the acting is not good. And the acting is not good because they've had nothing to work with. Now, I'll admit, I didn't go past the first episode. I just couldn't do that to myself. Like The Witcher. Oh my God. Rahul, you love The Witcher.
No.
Kill me now and kill my cat too.
I wasn't able to watch the second season. I did sit through the first season. That was okay, but it wasn't great. For some reason, Wheel of Time, Tim, I accept it's not the best show that we've seen in the past few years, but
I haven't watched
somehow,
it yet.
somehow, I want to watch that show again. And if I want to, so what you were mentioning earlier, that I would always give the reasons for what I like and what I didn't like. It's a part of my learning as a writer. If I enjoy something, I have to figure out why I enjoyed it so much. And if I
Yes.
didn't enjoy something, I have to
Yes.
figure out why I didn't enjoy it so much. That helps me with my writing. That's what I always try to include in my whatever analysis videos or whatever one might want to call them. But Wheel of Time, that show, it was successful in taking me to the places it took me to. And probably it just ends there because I was not invested emotionally in any of the characters, and I could almost make fun of so many things that were happening, especially towards the end. But I still feel like, maybe watching the first few episodes again. Okay, so guys, we are supposed to be talking about South Asian music, and now I'm gonna get into that. None of us come from a musical background, so we are responding as just simple plain listeners and viewers.
Let me ask you,
Your
if
cat's
we
looking at
can
you.
define,
Yeah.
she's crazy, crazy kitty. If we can claim that there is something that defines quality in a work of art, why would the same publisher or the same music recording company or the same film company, why would they release something that is incredible on Monday and then on Tuesday turn around and drop something that is so less than incredible? In your mind, that's two questions. One is corporate company. I guess I'm looking at the idea of art as money. And the other thing is, why would any artist or distribution company or music industry, why would anybody come out with a less than brilliant product?
Okay, so I think this happens across the board. I think right now I'm seeing this happen a lot in the music industry, in the region that I live in, of the world. But I see the same things happening in publishing. I see the same things happening in television and films as well. We just talked about what Amazon does, and it's not that they never produce any good shows. Like there's so many shows which are really great, but then there are so many shows which just don't work. Uh, by the way, your cat was so comfortable with its paws like that and just laying, her head back.
She's still there.
Yeah.
I'm terribly allergic to my own cat, so I'm gonna have to drop her and go sneeze in a moment.
Okay.
Well, she can take over the video for me. So you were saying it's happening in industries that you know everywhere? Focus, Rahul, focus.
Yes. So it happens everywhere, especially when we have the corporate sector stepping in to production and all of that. I think there are so many reasons. So many reasons. First of all, um, the people who are coming from business backgrounds are gonna look at the whole thing as pure business, and they're not gonna care about the idea of expression. So the kind of meetings that happen in which they orient you for how this project should be and what they're looking at and what should be the outcome, uh, it will have different outcomes if different people sit together for that meeting. I attending such a meeting or such a briefing from someone would be probably different from what you would receive from such a meeting, and then you would start thinking differently. That's one. Two, I don't know about any other country, but here I see the younger crowd actively wanting to pursue music. I see the kind of music they are producing, and we can't deny we are living in an age of impatience, and art, I believe, can never come out of impatience. And I think this is something which people have stopped even considering anymore, because I don't think they aim at producing art anymore. It's not art. It's either uh, an Instagram post, or it's either a YouTube video, and it limits there. And when someone is making something as plainly as like a YouTube video, they are making it to get views, and that's probably their only motivation. So when someone is approaching to create something with that ideology, with that thought, and with that level of impatience, that come on, we just need to finish this in one day, we just have 1 week to do this. I have never been able to produce any kind of art with that approach, whether it might be a painting, whether it might be some writing, whether it was an architectural design, anything at all that I've tried my hands on. I have never been able to do that in those rigid kind of impatient timelines. But then it's a project which gets you X amount of money, and then you have this deliverable by that date and time and all of that. And with this whole influx of internet, Tim, people have started to take it for granted that all the information is readily available there, so we don't need to indulge or dive into anything deeply. We can just quickly watch this one video, and then we are done. We can just quickly read this one Wikipedia article, and then we are done, and then we'll go ahead and do it. And that kind of shows in the result that comes out. Apart from that, I recently got to know that Instagram is selling out the blue ticks now. And why is it happening? Because before Instagram started to give that validation of that blue tick, there were agencies unofficially guaranteeing that blue tick to you. They will take X amount of money from you, and then they'll get that blue tick for you. So Instagram must have got to know about this, and they must have gone like, why should we let anyone have this money if we ourselves can have it? So let's start selling this blue tick. They're getting sold anyway. So similarly, you can buy views as well. Now, if I was someone who was this big corporation, and if I wanted to get the kind of acclaim, focus, appreciation that I saw other people around me getting, and I don't have that acumen, I don't have that skill, I don't have that understanding of music, I don't understand lyrics as well, and I can't even bring people together who are that capable. And most of all, I don't have the patience to deal with such people because they are going to take time. And I don't want to give them time because I want this to happen quick. So I'll just pull something together and I'll put it out there. And when I see they're getting bad reviews, people are pointing out that this is not working because this, I start deleting those comments. And then if things don't take off, I get paid views. I start out with these paid advertisements and skippable ads and all of that, and I'll get views. I'll get millions of views within a day, depending on the kind of money I'm willing to pump in. And then I'll start flaunting it that my song got 10 million views, my song got 30 million views. But who watched it? God knows. And then I start flaunting them, and then I start putting it across as validation of how great my work is. But that's not true. I've just bought that thing. So recently, I was forcefully subjected to this one song 15 times or more as a skippable ad. And as soon as I got the option of skip ad, I did it. I didn't want to listen to it because I just didn't like it.
Yeah.
So I don't know where it leads to. And what I find hard to understand is, how can people not get it? Not the people who are watching it, but the people who are doing all of that. How do they not get that this is not going to work? Because I think you are undermining the audience a lot. You think
Yeah.
they know nothing. You think they don't have any opinion. And if I keep subjecting them to this particular song or this particular piece of art, at the end of the day, they're going to like it. And honestly, I have seen this happen. Like in the last 20 years in India, kind of was this huge period in which good music completely degraded and now it's dead. And that's how it happened. Offensive, below average musicians came
I
together.
want that T-shirt. Good music has completely degraded, and on the back, and now it's dead.
Well, maybe we should get one printed. So we were forcefully made to listen to those songs only, which were culturally offensive, which had nothing good going on with them. And just simple plain loops which were randomly or quickly picked out of the internet and bought and then just put together to just give you a basic repetitive beat, and that was about it. It's so sad to see almost no one trying to come up with good original music. A.R. Rahman is one person, but I think he's too sensitive an artist to thrust and put himself out there like that in order to create, in order to um, generate any kind of change. Because for my understanding of true artists, they do what they want to do and they just let people respond to it. uh, Good artists are generally bad at marketing, not always, but generally they are. But for the past 20 years, Tim, we have just had talent shows in which we get phenomenally good singers sing the songs which were made 40 years back, 50 years back, 30 years back, and that's it. And the world goes gaga over it, the whole country goes gaga over it, fairly enough, because those are great singers. But what are they going to sing? Who's going to give them songs to sing? Who's making new songs? Will they keep singing all those songs over again, which were sung phenomenally well in the first place already? Like those songs are revered the way they are for a reason, because they were composed so well, because they were sung so well, because they're so. Why do you want to keep doing something that was already done so well? You want to do that once or twice in order to show your talent, fine, but what after that? So so nothing is happening here in terms of good music, and no one seems to be bothered. Also, another thing which I feel, and I would like to have your opinion on that as well, music has this whole glamour around it.
Mm.
There's a huge level of admiration that people always have for performing artists. A guitarist, you admire that guitarist for what he does with that, with his fingers or with her fingers, and how they play the music. A drummer, it fascinates you. What are they doing, man? That's so good, it sounds so good, and they are doing it right there in front of you. Similarly, singing, there's this voice of that person which is specific to that person, and the way they modulate with their sound voice, and the whole glamour comes out of this very simple, plain, human rooted emotion that this person is capable of doing this great thing. And that is so
Mhm.
fascinating, and that's so admirable. And that's why, I'm a fan, because that person is doing that. Now we are, and that's why I think I'll go back to Coke Studio Pakistan. Why it does so well is because from the point of conception of that whole show, they have stuck to this one thing, that we are gonna do live music. We might take the whole day to record the song, but we will record it on the set live as the artists are performing. And that's why you can feel it. That's why you start, worshiping the artists the way you do. That's why you respect them so much. Because at the bottom of it, always, you would always have respect for hard work. That never goes away. Now, coming to something of a more mechanized kind of a music, where I just press a button and then the sound comes out, and then I press the next button and the sound comes out. I don't need to train my fingers. I don't need to do anything more than that. Everything is being taken care of by the computer. And if I can't sing, I have seen examples in which people are just talking in plain language, and then their voice has been modulated using all those softwares, and then it becomes a song, because then there is some degree of modulation happening in that song. If you start a song with that kind of modulation, you lose me there right then, because you don't have the singer doesn't fascinate me, because it's the machine that's doing it. And what's the machine? I can buy it.
Mhm.
What's so great about an artist? That's a person.
I'm Forgive me for interrupting, but I'm seeing this is a relevant topic. I'm starting to get really bored with Mid-Journey and other so-called AI art programs. The things that are popping out are all starting to look the same. So when the AI art first came amongst us, they walked amongst us. It was amazing. It was incredible. But now it's just starting to look the same. And I'm almost missing human innovation. Can I try to summarize two things you said? You said first that you believe that the business interest is affecting quality because corporations, and by corporations, I can mean music producers, I can mean publishers, they want to spit something out as quickly as they can to get to the market. And they will use algorithms, they'll use robots, everything to try to make it look like they're a hit, even though that might or might not be improving sales. I don't know. I just want to think that back in the 1960s, when I was still in diapers, yeah, right. Back in the 60s, corporations, music companies, did they really push high quality music? Sure, there are a lot of companies that pushed bubblegum. I'm not saying ABBA, but they also pushed out the Doors. They also pushed out Jimi Hendrix. They gave us the Beatles. The corporate music industry gave us greatness in art. What's changed? You're suggesting that today everybody's living on speed. Is that technology? Is that social media technology? Is that the change that we've gone from buying a product to downloading a product? That we're no longer physically invested in an album or a CD, which is not just music, it's also artwork. It's also a whole history, and it's going to sit on that cherished place in my house. Whereas now I have a couple of hundred, actually, it's not true. I don't download music. I don't know how. Is it the technology? Is it social media? And is that ruining the quality of art?
I think there are multiple reasons for this. To mention a few, I think the way we listen to the music now, the way the music is served to us, definitely makes all the difference. That's definitely responsible for the degradation of the quality that of music that we get now, and how trashy things have become. Back in the day, an artist had to come up with a single or a song, or a single or an album. That song or that album was taken to public, one, on any form of physical format. We started
Yeah.
with the vinyls, before we had Shellac records. Then we had, the CDs and the cassettes and 8-track, 4-track, and all of that happened. If I wanted to listen to music, I had to buy it. That was an
Yeah.
investment. If
Mhm,
I was not enjoying it, I would not buy it. And that would
mhm,
result in the failure of that album. Okay, so the people at the back end
mhm.
working, creating that music, they had to understand that I need to make something which people want to own and enjoy and can feel it. And that's how I was creating my music. That's one. Two, you can put it out on the
Mhm,
radio. And that also worked
mhm.
in a way that if people were not liking that song, they're not going to tune in. And if they're not going to tune in, they're not going to get enough people listening. And that in turn will not get them good ad revenue. And if the ad revenue doesn't come in, so it had to be, the song had to be good. And that's why it
Is
was
that necessarily true? Because a radio station could keep shoving a song down the listener's throats. And you said you heard the same song on some horrible advert, skip, skip, skip. But a radio station could keep plugging a song until people learned or got used to the song, or it's like some say Bob Dylan, the the Grateful Dead, these are acquired tastes, and I won't acquire it unless you shove it down my throat by
so
playing it all the time.
you are definitely better informed about this than me. I know you've taught media and radio and all of that, but what I feel is that on a radio I can still switch on to another other station if I'm not enjoying that song. I have that
Mhm.
choice. But give
Yeah.
us more insight on this. Like, what do you think? I do understand the hammer effect and all of that, but tell us more about it.
Although I'm just wondering that it's the same thing that some authoritarian regime might do. If you keep telling lies about your really, really big wall, um, people are going to start seeing a really, really big wall, or they're going to see your really, really big Z tanks or whatever. So it is a human factor that repetition leads to comfort. Comfort leads to, well, familiarity, excuse my language. It leads to familiarity, leads to acceptance. And that's how the music industry works. And you look at the theories of Adorno, who notes how music is designed to addict you, to addict. There's a wonderful video on YouTube, you should share it on your channel, where somebody took 5 of the most top-selling American country music songs and layered them on top of each other, and they sound like the same exact song, even when 5 different songs are played together. It comes out as a single song. So I think there's that, but what leads to the death of music today? Is it that rushed quality that now it's streaming? And can we circle back to what I said earlier in our discussion, that social media does not appreciate negative comments? You know, if you don't like it, don't say anything at all about it. Just don't say anything. You know, me, I only comment if I like something. These are influential podcasters saying this. Is that part of it too? That people think if it's on the radio, it must be, if it's on the YouTube or however you hear your music, it must be good because everybody's liking it.
I think with time, this is changing. I think with time, people are beginning to reject, the kind of response the that Rings show got, whatever it was called, Rings of Power. So how blatantly it was rejected, irrespective of all the negative reviews being swept away and deleted and all of that happening. We had it on record. People shared it on their videos and on their reviews and all of that. That first day it was this many negative reviews, second day is they removed these many, and third day they removed these many. So that kind of manipulation, I think people are becoming more and more aware of, and more than that, they're becoming self-aware that, do I enjoy it or not? And I don't care if other people are enjoying it or not, but if I don't enjoy it, I'm not going to watch it. And I think that's because there is just an uncontrollable flood of everything that is being served. May it be music, may it be films, may it be television. So I don't care anymore that, what people are watching, because it's just impossible to follow. In fact, today morning I was thinking, when I was in college, if I had seen 2 films in a week, it would be quite something. It would be like, wow, I see 2 movies in a week. And now it's like, if I watch 2 movies in a week, people will go like, dude, do you even watch films at all? Like, do you even know, what's out there? Because you can't catch up unless you're watching at least
Yeah.
1 movie a day or 5 episodes a day. Otherwise, you're just so. I think a lot of people that are now talked to, who are young teenagers, by the way, like my students and all of that, they don't invest their time unless it's something as iconic, as revered as Breaking Bad, or that level of acclaim. If something gets, they will watch it because everyone's watching it and everyone's liked it. So now if we want to know, and we want to also flaunt that we've seen that show and all of that, but I don't think it happens with everything that comes out, which gets this whole economic pump of being made visible on the internet.
So the visibility is not necessarily a sign of quality, because it may be coming from, like you say, the economic pump. Producers are pushing stuff out there, because nowadays you can't just sell a physical product, you have to sell an idea. No, I'm saying it wrong. You have to sell something virtual. I don't know how a music distributor makes money anymore. I honestly don't. So I'm coming at this from complete ignorance. But somehow this whole change has, you're saying, degraded the music industry. And I'm going to challenge you and wonder, maybe you're right, maybe the numbers are meaningless, but there is still super good quality music coming. Let's shorten the regional. In your region alone, and I'm in Asia, I'm near China, You're in India, you're near China. And by the way, the pandemic means if I've seen 2 movies a year in the movie theater, I celebrate and dance and run around naked in the streets.
Well,
Hasn't gone well with my neighbors, but there it is.
I saw
But
2 movies
anyway,
in 3 years
there's,
for that matter. Then yeah,
hey, I beat you.
yeah.
Take that. Um, I hear now something like Spotify. This is not an advert for Spotify, but it is. Um, Something like Spotify, I can type in independent Indian folk urban music, and I come up with wonderful, wonderful artists whose names I can't remember right now because I don't even remember my own name. So I think there is high quality music out there, but it's not the stuff that's getting pushed in whatever place you're seeing music pushed. I still have to search for it, and I still have to trust Spotify's algorithm to give it to me. So I'm not quite sure if we can say that corporate interests and technology have slaughtered the music industry. Maybe it's just made it harder to find quality.
It's see that's the thing. I feel that there's a flood first of all, and I don't know what you were talking about earlier. I don't have like a lot of information about it, but I was talking to someone who distributes vinyl records in India, and I was trying to push him to get a few of my favorite albums on vinyl. And I was like, why don't you suggest them this, and why don't you suggest them that these albums are going to do great? And he was like, Rahul, those companies, they're not interested because it's going to get them such small return that
Hmm.
and on such high effort that they don't want to do it. He said that they don't want to go beyond YouTube and Spotify because they're getting so much of money out of it. And those big companies, they're not more than 3 music companies in India who own all the Indian music, which kind of is like a whole treasure, and they've got such huge banks. He said that the kind of money they're generating just out of YouTube and just out of Spotify, they practically don't need to do anything else, and that's why they're not doing it.
Hmm.
So that's another reason why things are the way they are. Now, how much the artists are earning is a different question. And also, Tim, back in the day, even up till the late 90s or the early 2000s, there was a music culture.
Yeah. Yes.
People would get together, they would listen to songs, they would play music, they would play instruments, and they would take time out to do all of those things. And they would have their own
Hmm.
music tastes, and those were the hipsters. Those were all the other teenagers or other kids. They would look up to them. Oh man, they are the people who they're the talk of the town and this and that, and they would aspire to kind of at least listen to what they were listening and give it a shot and all of that. That whole thing has kind of vanished. That whole thing has just gone off the society. Everyone is just holding a phone, and in India they are
Hmm.
just looking at Instagram reels and putting out Instagram reels, and all of this has just happened so suddenly, Tim. I took a 3 years break from the university, and then I went back this semester. I had not seen this when I left the university all those years back. Now every corner, one student is standing, clicking pictures, making videos of themselves or someone in front of them, and they're uploading. And it's like you go 20 steps and you come across one. You go 20 steps more, you come across one. So, and I know how demanding that is because I need to do that myself at times when my books come out and all of that. And I'm so inconsistent, it never results into anything. But I know how demanding that is. And they're just too invested in that. There can be no way you can have time to sit down and listen to music. You can put it on, it can keep going on in the background, but there's no way you can listen to music. There's no way you can feel what's being sung. You can't feel the emotion and the lyrics. And for that matter, I very firmly feel that Coke Studio Pakistan single-handedly kind of revived the music scene in this region, because that one show had the power to make people wait for the next song, and wait, like actually wait
Hmm.
for the next song to drop. And they did something really good this time. Like last year, they won't reveal which day they're going to drop that song. So you're constantly checking their channel and you're waiting. Is it going to be afternoon? Is it going to be evening? Is it going to be morning? And what day? And I had missed that for such a long time. That whole thing is just dead on large for the music industry. No one really cares. And the kind of film songs that we are getting, they're not meant to be listened to. They are meant to be just played in the background. And I think that's what they are meant for. That's what the makers want them to be, because that's what at the end of the day is gonna get them money. Because each song used for an Instagram reel or a YouTube short video is gonna get them money. That's what they're aiming for.
And they're coming from cinema, so they're just supposed to be pure visual spectacle.
Well, we've got some wonderful songs from Hindi cinema, Tim, like some mind-bogglingly great songs, but not anymore.
Perhaps as regional cinema industries grow, Tamil cinema, the films in Malayalam. I hope I said that right.
I've
Perhaps these regional are coming out with better quality. They're definitely coming out with better quality
for sure.
film.
For sure.
Perhaps alongside as part of the film, within the film, they'll be coming out with more serious compositions musically, production-wise.
Definitely. So because people will always crave and lap good entertainment, that's that. But Tim, I'm going to go back to something that I was talking about before, and I'm going to ask you that. So when I was in ninth or 10th grade, song Believe came out, and it had a very different sound, because that was for me, that was for the first time I was listening to a singer's voice being modulated like that, with all those softwares and modulation tools. And I was like, wow, this sounds amazing, this is so great. And that song became a phenomenal hit. It would play in every party one would go to, and it was everywhere. But now when I sit down and listen to that one song, it does not fascinate me.
I have to confess, I don't know the song. So
I'll
is this
share
a
the
violation of your...
Yeah,
We
there
get
you
you
go.
kicked off YouTube.
There you go.
YouTube, this is YouTube. I'm not familiar with that song at all.
So
So I don't know. I'm just sitting here thinking, damn, he got invited to parties.
when I was in school, that is.
Nobody invites me to parties.
Not anymore, but no, they don't invite me
Never did.
either.
All right, you enjoy your parties and your share. I believe you.
So anyway, what I was getting to is that, but when I listen to other songs by this same artist, something like Gypsies, Tramps, and Thieves, and Bang Bang, or any other song, it still works. But the one in which her voice was modulated massively, just to create a different kind of a sound and a different kind of musical vocabulary, for me, it has not aged well. So even today, we get songs which open with a very blatant, in the face auto tune kind of a thing, and we know instantly that this is not what the singer is putting in effort for. And that puts me off, that turns me off, and that kind of kills my fascination right there, right then. But
Okay, hold on.
yeah.
You just said the singer is not putting in the effort, but we don't know to what degree the singer is controlled by the producer, and the producer is in cahoots with the engineer. So we don't know. I don't know if we can blame the singer or the musicians.
I'm not blaming the singer. I want to be clear here. I'm not blaming the singer. I'm looking at it as a whole song, and rephrase. That song doesn't fascinate me. So, and I don't want to hear that song anymore, because I'm not enjoying it. It doesn't fascinate me. The song doesn't fascinate me. So what do you think about it? Like, do you think music has something?
Yeah, I was going to say, link back to this question of quality. If you don't enjoy the song, what is it that makes a song, or that gives a song power for you? Earlier, I spoke about how that Cat Stevens song sung at my brother's, not funeral, but celebration of life, kind of like the good old Irish wake, drinking, dancing, music, and crying. What is it about a song that was so powerful? And it's a combination of the lyrics. It's a combination of just the plain use of music, the chords, the selections. Like, you take David Bowie's, what's it called? Major Tom? Space Oddity. You've got that beautiful how it begins, that little bit of guitar, and then I don't know what the instrument is, but then the bung, and then David Bowie in that lower voice, ground control to Major Tom. It's the quality of the choice of his notes. It's just everything. What's the other incredible David Bowie song? Oh, or how about the Beatles? They did so much in terms of creativity. Even I saw recently on a documentary on the BBC about the fellow who played the French horn in Penny Lane, not Penny Lane. Yeah, in Penny Lane, there is a barber in the barber shop. And then you've got that one little that was an actual French horn player from the British Symphony, who John Lennon saw him on TV and called up his producer and said, oi, can we get that guy in the studio? I've got an idea. So there was just an experimentalism in the best songs. There's an attempt to sonically, just hurt myself, ow. There's an attempt to sonically improve what we are familiar with and make something familiar unfamiliar and therefore tantalizing. You used the word before. What was it that you said? Glamorous. There's the key to good music too. Glamour, and not in terms of, oh darling, I love those earrings. Glamour in terms of bewitchment, of hypnotizing you, and good music could do that. So what is it? It's the choice of instrument. It's the choice of note, the composition of the note. It's the mixing of the sounds. Somebody has this idea, like I loved The Who. Quadrophenia, you listen, the main sound and the chorus, the bass is supposed to be the one that goes bum 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 bum, and the guitar or piano is supposed to be the one that goes ba 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 ba. They switch it. They had the bass as the opening, the ba 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 ba, and the guitar would be just the bum 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 bum. That's something so subtle. I would never have noticed it unless somebody told me, which is why I love analysis videos. They switch it. That's a creativity. That's an ingenuity. It's experimental. It's innovation. It's quality. And then the other level is what you appreciate as an artist yourself. I'm not just singing bubblegum. I'm singing songs that portray the human experience. And to me, there's nothing more incredible than art that portrays the human experience. If I wasn't afraid of losing this terrible sound thing I have wrapped around myself, literally I've wrapped myself around, I would reach over and get a book that I was just reading. Paulo Freire, the educator from Brazil, talked about his experience as a young man reading, and his idea that anything I read has to show me reality, which is his way of saying what it means to be human. Okay, now he's not talking about making reality in your fiction, but he is talking about even the most speculative work can show us what it means to be human. Otherwise, it's just dead noise. So if a piece of bubble gum is saying, hey, baby, baby, I want you. Yeah, that's the human experience, but where's the depth in it?
Yeah.
Hey, baby, well, look at a song like Creep. The lyrics of that song, I want a perfect body. I want to be good. And who here, I challenge you, everybody listening today, who hasn't said, I want a perfect body. I want to be loved by other people. Wow. And then he turns around and says, but I'm a creep, I'm a loser. Wow, powerful stuff. And then the amazing thing is I heard on a podcast interview that in that song Creep, the guitarist did not like the song, and he purposely tried to sabotage it by doing that little with the guitar. But The good news is, even as the technology has devastated, it's also allowing us through companies like Spotify or, oh, I don't know what's that you can
Even
buy
YouTube for
independent
that matter.
music. They're still allowing us access or the opportunity to discover greatness in art.
Yeah,
It's also why I do appreciate we have many more podcasts, though many of them I can only stomach for about 5 minutes. But many good podcasts are also introducing me to quality music, quality film, and quality fiction.
that's true.
So we have that which we would never have had before.
Yeah.
Well, some of the really best stuff I found in the record shops when I was a teenager was in that 99-cent bin, the $1 bin, the reject stuff that nobody else would buy. Hey, my cat just bit me.
Oh,
The reject stuff that nobody else would buy, and so it's on sale for $1, and I bring it home because I was poor, and wow, great art. And these bands now are all legendary progressive rock stuff. Okay, so my cat is telling me that she wants me to go make dinner. She's getting hungry, so we need to wrap this up. And I mean wrap up our discussion, not wrap up the cat, because to wrap up the cat is a lot of hard work. They scratch, you know.
okay.
I'm sitting here looking, she's got these sharp claws. I need to cut their claws. See that?
Yeah.
So I would say thank you for this conversation. I wish it'd be lovely to hear people's opinions on anything that we've talked about. Anybody have their own experience of what they see as good music, bad music?
Honestly, guys, anyone who's watching this and listening to this, if you have something that you would like to discuss with us, maybe we can have a different perspective, and maybe all three of us or four of us can sit down and have a discussion about the things that we discussed today. So if you're up for a discussion, do hit me in the comments, and we can definitely look at some possibilities.
Yeah. And if you're a music company that has just been insulted terribly, you can ask for this young man's address and you can go hit him in the gut.
No, please don't do that. So, see, honestly, if anyone from any music company is listening to this, the only reason why I'm doing this is because I want to listen to
You
good
love
music.
music.
No,
Yeah.
I love music fine, but I want to listen to more good music. And I can very clearly I have started to see very clearly where, where some people are beginning to falter. And it's just my little puny attempt to just, try to make them look at, is it because of this reason that this thing is not working? That's my only sole purpose. I'm not here to annoy anyone, or show anyone down, or anything. Good music, no matter where it comes from, is good music, and I want to have more good music. That's my only concern.
Yeah. I just hope people will be more willing to define when they say it's good music, tell us what is good. Yeah. The only thing we haven't explained is how come it's way past my cat's dinner time and she's not eaten her
So
dinner yet.
so we got to end
You
this
don't want
now.
to make her angry.
No, we don't.
Don't make me angry.
No, never make a cat angry. That is something that I've learned.
See, I
Okay.
told you, I'm getting the butt.
Okay, Tim, I think we should end this now, and let's do this sometime soon again. And that's it, guys. And thank you so much, Tim, for
Yeah.
joining. It is.
Please reply, and maybe Rahul will make a video with you too.
Yeah, and we'll have Tim on board as well. So that'll be fun. Thank you so much, Tim. Thank you so much for joining
Thank
in.
you,
And
Rahul, for inviting me. Thanks for giving me this call.
it was great fun. And until next time, guys, keep listening, keep watching, keep reading. Cheers. Okay.